Well, it turns out that we have almost no chance of selling because of the market conditions. And I have decided that since we're going to stay in our condo for the foreseeable future, that we need to make a charging solution happen. I'm going to explain both the struggles of trying to make this happen and also the benefits of doing this for our condo building. And I'm going to talk to you about a company that is making solutions like this happen for condo buildings across Western Canada and more in the future, I'm sure. And their name is Unico Power. And Glen is one of their co-founders, and I'm going to show you everything that we've done to make this happen. I hope this happens. I'm Ryan from Rocky Mountain Tesla, and we're sharing the data because it's electrifying. It's electrifying transport, and it's making it easier for people to go electric. And specifically, I am worried about the people who are going electric who live in condo buildings. So don't forget to subscribe and share and like. So when I started this whole process of trying to get charging at the condo, I thought it would be a lot easier. And there were questions that the condo board had, and it just kind of went back and forth. The pandemic made it almost impossible to continue, mostly because people were not really sure what Zoom was, how to connect remotely. It kind of made it more difficult. And then the pandemic really hit the condo market from a value standpoint, and it made it almost impossible for us to move. So now I'm doubling down my efforts to make this happen, and I'm trying to answer all the questions that the condo board has and just owners in general. What we've ended up doing is trying to drive around with the CHAdeMO adapter to charge up faster than normally, because when we have to go to a parking lot to charge, even though it's only a few minutes away at McDougall Parkade, it's not so convenient when it's minus 20 Celsius. It's kind of freezing. So I want to make this happen for everybody. Everybody that is living in a condo that thinks that it's not possible to drive electric. And by the way, that number keeps growing. And if this doesn't happen for condos soon, then it'll reduce the value of condos even further, because why would you want to move into a condo if you can't go electric? And if that number is going up, well, just start thinking about it. People are going to stop buying condos, or at least a condo that doesn't want to go electric. One of the first things that a condo board and people in the condo should be concerned about is scalability. How scalable a solution is it that you're looking at? And if you're looking at something that has to be put in where your actual meters are in a condo building, there's not lots of space. So then I found a solution that was a little less power intensive. But then the question that comes up is, well, how do you handle all the charging costs back to the owner, and how much work is that to manage that? And if you have to start being a middleman for a condo, well, that's not very good if they have to manage every single condo's payments, and that just becomes a mess as well. So once the condo owners started using Zoom for their own condo board meetings, it made it a lot easier too, because knowing that they can all meet that way means they were more open to discussing it in a more remote fashion. Glen reached out to me a long time ago, actually. I wasn't so sure I would even discuss it with him, but when I actually looked at his solution, it made a lot of sense, because it basically managed all of the problems that we were seeing through all the back and forth that happened with the condo owners and myself. When Glen came over to visit the condo and check out our electricity setup, our electrical rooms, and everything that was there, everything that wasn't working, including equipment that we no longer needed, he could identify additional capacity the condo actually has available and things like that. It immediately became apparent that he and his company know what they're doing. Unico Power solution handles all these different problems in a way that meets the needs of both a condo EV owner like myself or my wife, and owners in the building that want to make sure that there isn't additional electricity being charged to their unit because of the setup. I just had Unico Power come over and do an assessment, and here is some more information regarding that visit.
The interesting thing about condos is the decisions in what you do for electric vehicle charging are somewhat more complex than they would be for doing it in a single family home, and that really stems from what Ryan referred to, which is everybody that's charging their vehicle in the garage is using the same common or house power, and so by doing that, it introduces a few different issues. And the first is there's only so much power available, and demand is a key issue, and so is capacity. So how do you make sure you share that and get the most number of cars charging in the building using that finite supply of power? And then the second thing is, related to that, the utilities bill you based on how much of that power you use. So adding use for an EV doesn't just add energy costs or kilowatt hour costs, it adds these demand charges. So it's very important that when we're looking at a building, we manage that demand and control to that demand so we only use as much power as we need. The second thing with electric vehicle charging in condos is that because you are using that shared power and there's only one bill for that power, it's sometimes difficult to understand which owners used the energy during the months to charge their car. So the billing and the administration and that sort of thing is something that your electric vehicle solution provider needs to do and take that burden off of the condo board and off of the property manager. So that's a very key question that condo boards should be asking of their solution provider. So when we come into the main electrical room, there's a couple key things we're looking for. The first thing is we have a general look around to see how much wall space there is, because we do put a communication cabinet in the electrical room. And in this case, you'll see that the wall's pretty full. So one of the things we could do is look for equipment like this. This is not used anymore. So if we had to put it there, we could. In this case, we're going to put the communication cabinet right here, and that's what's going to be used to monitor it. The other thing we look at in the main electrical room is for the house power or house distribution, so that we can understand what size the main load is, what we need to monitor. This is what your utility is going to monitor, and so that's what we want to monitor. So we'll look at that, and then in general we'll look at the rest of the panels in the room to see if there's a panel that we might use that has capacity. In this case, we're lucky that there's an electrical heat trace panel that used to heat the ramp to the garage. That's now been replaced with glycol heating. So this whole panel is available, not just the slots in the panel, but actually the capacity. So this is a really good setup. You'll put an electrical box here that can serve two EVSEs, a future one here for your neighbor, and then your EVSE would go right here and plug into your car right there.
It's happening. As we went through the process of evaluating and planning for implementing EV charging, Unico Power provided full support along the way. This included providing presentations to our condo board, evaluating our electricity usage, and helping get everyone aligned on the solution. They also provided sample bylaws and rule information, and they helped the board decide on what rates to charge for the charging services. After the building had decided on the solution, they also put a note up in the elevator to notify additional owners that they could get in on the action. It definitely helps, as I'll touch on later. We looked into other smart charging solutions, and when it came to things like capability, cost, and support during the process, Unico Power had a clear advantage. If you are thinking about EV charging for your condo or apartment, I fully recommend getting in touch with Unico Power. Big shout out to Dan at Elkom Electrical Solutions for doing such a fantastic job. And this is the second owner's EVSE. If you tell people up front about a project like this, you will get more people interested, and we fortunately had another person interested at the start of the project, and it made the overall project a little bit cheaper.
Well, here we are with Ryan's charger, charging away. A couple things just wanted to point out on this for consideration if you are putting a charger in your building or EVSE in your building. Dan from Elkom Electrical did a great job. One of the things we like to do is you'll see that the conduit running down to the charger is offset, and it follows directly along the line between two parking spots. So this isn't important for the initial install, but what this does is now when this building goes to expand at some point, when this owner next to it wants to put in a charger, all we have to do is run another short level section of cable out to the charger here. And so you get two chargers supported by one drop. If you put this in the middle of the stall, you're going to double the cost of that final drop. So it's really important to consider what's going to happen down the road, not just what you're doing right now. The other thing about this is we have a really nice loop down here. This cable it's flexible cable. Over time it will start to sag if you try to run it straight. It's better just to run a loop, a natural loop, and it's always going to hang, it's always going to look great. So great job by Dan, and congratulations, Ryan.
Thank you. Finally. Check out unicopower.com. The link is in the description. And if you want me to keep on making more videos, please subscribe.